Hi, and welcome to the Allplane Podcast, where I talk with the movers and shakers that are redefining the future of commercial aviation. As usual, before today's show, let me remind you once more that all previous episodes of this podcast, as well as many other aviation stories, are available on the Allplane website. That's Allplane.tv, Allplane.tv. Today, we talk about a topic that is often there in the background. Perhaps it's not that much of an issue for many of those listening to this podcast right now, but it is certainly a big problem among the general population and one that concerns airlines very much. We are talking about the fear of flying, which, according to some estimates, might be affecting, to some degree or another, about a third of the population. So, quite a large number of people. Our guest today, Alon Pereg, is certainly not afraid of flying. He's got several decades of experience as a pilot, currently flying Dreamliners for El Al, Israel's national airline, and prior to that, in the Israeli Air Force, where he was flying A4 and F-16 combat aircraft. But Alon became interested in this phenomenon, in the fact that for so many people, flying is a source of anxiety, of fear, even panic. So after coming across some direct cases of people in his circle that had this issue, Alon started teaching a series of workshops for people that wanted to overcome this fear of flying. The results were so positive that he soon started looking for ways to scale up this activity. And he came up with a mobile app called SimpliFly, which provides a whole range of content that seeks to calm down people that are afraid of flying and help them fight this fear. How do they do it? Well, you will have to tune in for today's episode, in which Alon shares quite a few insights about this topic, as well as about his entrepreneurial journey. And by the way, listen attentively, because at some point he also drops some goodies for the audience. So that's enough from me for now. Let's welcome Alon to the podcast.
Hello, Alon. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for hosting me.
Where are you joining us from today?
Today I'm in Israel. Tomorrow I'm flying to New York.
So, I guess you are constantly on the move because you are a commercial pilot in addition to being an entrepreneur. We're going to talk now about the entrepreneurship part and the very interesting project you are leading. Yeah, tell us a little bit about your background, because I think you've got a pretty interesting background in aviation. You've been in a military pilot in the IDF. You are also a commercial pilot at El Al, right?
El Al, yes.
The national airline of Israel. And you are also the founder of SimpliFly, which is SimpliFly App, which is actually an app, a mobile app, that is helping people deal with the fear of flying, which is a topic.
That's correct.
It's a topic that I wanted to touch upon already for quite some time. I'm not one of the, let's say, like, targets for your app, because I'm not much afraid of flying, but that's a real problem for many people out there. And that's something definitely that people in the industry have been looking into, because we can talk now about the figures, but it's a significant percentage of people that have some sort of fear of flying. Yeah. So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your project, about SimpliFly.
Okay, so where do I start? You know what? I'll start at the age of 9. When I was 9 years old, my mother took me to eye test, and the optician took some tests. And then he told me, you know, kid, you are a little bit short-sighted. It will not really affect your life. You are just not going to be a pilot. That's all. So at the age of 9, I knew that I was not going to be a pilot. But the military thought differently, and when I was 19 approximately, they just took me to the flying course of the Air Force, where every Israeli guy that fits the criteria gets there. It's not that you volunteer to go to the flying course. You can opt out if you want, but I was called to do that, and I did the flying course. It was a surprise for me, but I did it. And then I graduated at 1981, which is a very long time ago. I became a fighter pilot in the Israeli Air Force. I flew Skyhawk A4, and then 10 years later, I transitioned to fly F-16. And I flew F-16s until I retired from military flying at 2006. In between, I was a career officer in the Air Force, and I had a very interesting mission being the head of the international affairs of the Air Force. And that can be a topic for a series of podcasts, but we will not touch it today.
Yeah, and I guess lots of it is not it's classified.
No, it's
No.
actually most of it, it's not classified. But again, I can talk about it all day long. And then at 2004, actually, I was still a reserve pilot at the Air Force. I decided to join the airline as a commercial pilot. Now, talking about being surprised of things, for a fighter pilot, the most boring mission, this thing that is you cannot think about, is just taking a plane from one point to another and not doing anything in between.
Yeah.
And I said, I will never be a commercial pilot. But then I thought again, I said, it's going to be a lousy job, but I will have good life. And I joined El Al, and immediately I found out that I was wrong, because it was a fascinating transition to be an airline pilot. It is a totally different profession, and I can dedicate a whole talk about the difference between airline and military aviation. It's opposite in a nutshell.
Yeah, that could be an interesting topic. Yeah, definitely.
So ever since 2004 until today, I am a pilot. Now I flew the 737s, I flew 747, and now I'm flying 787, the Dreamliner, as a captain, and life is good.
Yeah.
So while I was flying, and actually, if you think, I've spent more than 2 years, accumulated years in the air, 19,500 hours over these 40-something years, I found out that there were people that for them, flying is a nightmare. It's something that for some of them, it's a nightmare. Some of them, it's a dream that will probably never come true. And little by little, approximately 10 years ago, I started to understand that it is a major problem. So people were coming to me and telling me the problems, and I tried to explain to them until, let's say, 7 years ago. There was a young lady, a daughter of one of my friends, that came to me. She was 26 years old, and I helped her. And then she flew to Thailand. It's 10 hours flight. And she returned engaged to her boyfriend, which was a big thing. And then she took me and said, Alon, you really need to do it organized. It's not something like that. And I knew that at that time. So at that point, I said, I know what I want to do. And I sat down and I wrote the entire curriculum, and I started my own course in Israel, my own program in Israel. And it has been running for 6 years now. In the middle, we had a little pandemic. I don't know if you heard about it.
Well,
So nothing happened.
This is an offline course that you are teaching, quote unquote.
Yeah, I started with an offline course. I had hundreds of people going through this course with an amazing success rate. Amazing. It was 88% of the people said that it helped them. Now, we have to define success. The fear of flying did not vanish, not for all of them, but people that could not fly started to fly. People that flew with major anxieties could even enjoy from time to time from flying. And the overarching goal was not to let the fear of flying affect their quality of life. So they may be afraid from time to time, but not affecting their life.
Yes.
But it was not scalable, because I could host 10 people, 12, 16 every time.
Yeah.
So I had 400 people going through my course, but it was not enough. You mentioned it. The number or the percentage that is a common understanding in the industry is that 30% of the population are afraid of flying to the extent that it affects their lives.
Wow. I
Now,
would have never said it was so many. The 30%, it's a third almost.
yes.
So,
Now, some of them are flying
yeah.
with major anxieties. They transfer it to their kids. Some of them are avoiding flying. Now, think about a family in which the mother is not flying. So
Mm-hmm.
the entire family has to limit themselves to vacations nearby.
Yeah.
And that woman, that mother, cannot work in a work that is involved in flying.
Mm-hmm.
It is a major problem,
Yes.
and it's a loss for the airline industry. It is a
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, especially in Israel, where air travel, you are so dependent on air travel to
Yes,
travel to other countries.
yes, we are
It's
an
not.
island in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. And how did you get to this number, 30%? Is this some scientific paper or some
Yeah,
surveys? Or...
yes, Google it and see. For example, Virgin Australia published that 10%, 10% of the actual people that are flying are afraid of flying. We, in November 2021, we launched a survey in the United States. We SimpliFly.
Mm-hmm.
We got 1,700 results. It was really a very wide survey. The first question was, how much are you afraid of flying? Number one was not afraid. Two was minimal fear. Three was substantial fear. And four was extreme fear. Now listen to this. 58.5% of the people reported not afraid of flying. 25% of the adult population reported minimum flying, minimum fear.
Mm-hmm.
8.5% reported we are substantially afraid of flying, and another 8% reported extreme fear. So if you are talking about extreme and substantial, it's 16%.
Yeah.
But another 25% of the population report they are afraid. So this is a huge number.
Yeah, it's a spectrum, huh? It's like to different degrees, from extreme to just maybe some people are just scared in specific moments when there's turbulence. Other people just simply have a kind of pathological fear that cannot even get on board an airplane.
And you're touching a very important point, because we call it aerophobia or fear of flying, but it is actually many types of fear. And you can roughly say that you can divide it into two parts. One part are afraid of the flying. The other part is afraid of the fear. And if you want a litmus test for this, you ask a person who is afraid of flying, tell them, okay, guys, you are in the airport now with your beloved ones. You are going to board a plane. And now I can offer you a solution. You only are going to go to the destination by very fast train, and all the family will fly. If they tell you it's a very good solution, it means that they are not afraid of flying, because they are willing to send their beloved ones on the plane. They're afraid of being afraid. They are afraid of the anxiety of panic attack. Yeah. Some of them feel that the flying is really dangerous, but that's something that we have learned during the years, that these are not the major portion. Many of the people are afraid of the fear of being in a stationary place, not being able to do anything about the fear.
Yeah. And these courses offline that you started doing offline, how are they? I mean, they're in school and people sit there and listen to you, or there's some more interactive element to it? How are they organized?
So it has four components. The offline course, it has four components, but all of them are not treatment and does not involve any physical thing. First of all, it's a 1 day of a seminar in which I give them the information. Then we have another one-on-one session, which we do more or less before a flight. they get the app to rehearse and to still use it again and again in order to remember the thing. And we maintain constant contact via WhatsApp, text messages, phone calls, etc. That's all. Because, and I'm going to, since it's only you and me here, I can explore the real secret of SimpliFly. The secret is very simple. First of all, as I told you, we're not going to eliminate the fear. The fear will stay, but we're giving them a very pertinent, very relevant information coming from a reliable source, which is the pilot, and we're giving it to them when they need it. For example, first of all, they didn't need it here before they fly, and then they can take it with them on board the plane on an app, and even inside the application, they have a feature in which they can chat with the pilot, or if they are in fear before the flight, or even on board the plane if they have internet, they push a button and one pilot somewhere in the world will answer them, give them answers, give them advice, etc. So that's all. It's not that we are pulling some kind of tricks and things like that. We're just giving them information. And coming from a pilot, it's more or less like you feel some kind of a pain in the chest, and you can have Alon telling it's okay, or a doctor, physician tell you. It's not the same thing. So that's what the offline class was all about. But what I realized is that we can just pack it all inside one mobile application and disseminate to the world. And I get, people are contacting me via the app or in other ways and telling me, we downloaded it. We took the entire course, which is almost 3 hours of a course. And then we went out flying. And if we needed, we did a chat with the pilot. And that's all. They never met me. They never knew who I was, which is amazing.
Yeah, so to get into the app itself, which I think, when did you launch the app? That was quite recent, right?
Yes, we launched it in last July. It's a year and something, yeah.
I've been playing a little bit with it. After you kindly sent me a link so that I could check it out and test it. So just I'm going to post a link for people to check it out and download if they feel inclined to do so. But basically, to summarize, I would say there are two main parts. One is all the content that you've put in there. So it's like a course, as you were mentioning, divided in many different lessons. You get these videos where it's not just you, but also like you've got a team of fellow pilots that are basically explaining different things that can happen during the flight experience, and whether there's weather phenomena, turbulence, stuff like that, other more basic stuff as well. And then there's a contact the pilot function where you can chat with a pilot. Is this a function that is always on? I didn't try that part because I'm not in a flight, so I wouldn't feel like, hey, I'm just contacting the pilot without anything to say. But how does it work? I mean, you have a team of people there that are constantly online, ready to answer questions. So
think about Uber. It's like an Uber of pilots. We don't have pilots standing by to answer questions. We have a couple of dozens of pilots from all over the world that have that app designated as a pilot's app. And if they are available, they will answer. First come, first served. It's like an Uber. It can be that you ask for a pilot and there is nobody available because maybe nobody is available, or they are in a chat, so you can try it after a while. You said about posting a link to download the app. What we will do is I will give you a coupon code that will allow the people to use the app for a couple of days without paying, just to get an impression of how it goes.
Because one parenthesis here I would like to add. your ad follows a freemium model, right? So you have
Yes.
some content is free, but if you want some more advanced features, I think the pilot chat is part of the premium package. Am I right?
It's the pilot chat is a paper chat, so you have to
Yeah.
buy what we call it smiles, smiles. These are the credits to chat, but also you need to purchase a subscription in order to unlock all the features, and your listeners will be able to use it for free for a period of time once they put that coupon.
Okay, good. So I'll definitely add this link and people can then check that out. Tell me more about what's been the market reaction to that. You've released globally, if I understand correctly. Anywhere in the world you can get this app. It's in English, yeah.
Yes.
And then you've got a small team, right? Also working on this. I've seen there are some fellow pilots in the videos. And what's been the market reception so far?
So we are planning to cooperate with the major players in the industry. The first one was obviously my airline, El Al, which got a package, what we called, which includes, first of all, they give their passenger the app for free for 1 month. So if you are flying El Al, you just input your PNR code into the app and you get it for free for a month. And then they got all the media on board the plane. So you can board the plane, and on the entertainment system of the plane, you can take the entire course. Their flight attendants got a video that teaches them how to help fearful flyers, how to identify them and what messages to deliver and how to help them. So El Al is the first airline in the world that gives a coverage from the moment that you buy the ticket until you disembark at the end of the flight.
Okay,
the
that's
same
interesting.
thing we are now. Yeah, it's a partnership with El Al.
Yeah, no, because it's interesting.
That's one thing.
Because it's not just a standalone app, but also the way you package it as part of the airline experience. That catches my eye because I've been working in a number of projects in the past in terms of passenger experience and in-flight entertainment, stuff like that, e-commerce. So that's actually quite interesting how an airline can offer this as part of the experience, and also for a startup like you to get all this sort of distribution as well.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you white label this, or do you distribute it through your own brand or co-branded with El Al, or how what sort of?
Initially, it is our brand. And once you apply the coupon code of El Al, or actually the PNR, then there is a little label of El Al on the app, on your app. And El Al they didn't yet, they can choose to put their own videos in the app. So all the people that will use the coupon code will be exposed to this content. But we also can provide white label. I didn't mention it, but we will develop more languages. Now, think about this. Even now, if you take your own app and switch the English to Hebrew, then you get a different set of media. And if we cooperate, for example, with a Spanish airline, we will produce a set of media for them. But this, let's say, Iberia will cooperate with us, and they have an English speaker customer, then that customer will still have the app of Iberia, but can switch to English and see the two pilots that speak in English, the other two pilots, and Korean and Chinese and whatever. The app can take any language. So that's the cooperation with the airline, and I think this is a win-win situation because many people avoid flying because of fear. Many people maybe will choose to fly with an airline that gives them answer to their fear rather than flying with another airline. Another type of cooperation that we launched, and it is really working, is with airports in the United States. They have defined that customer experience is a major gap, especially after the COVID. era, and they want to do things to help the passengers. So, for example, Los Angeles is an airport is publishing SimpliFly and giving their passengers a coupon code to use it. Boise Airport in the United States, and we have a couple of more airports that we are talking. So this is another way to distribute. Think about major companies that have tens of thousands of employees that need to travel. So you can download it from the web, whatever you from the app stores as you want, but you can get it from airline, from airport, from your company, whatever.
So basically, you have all this distribution through partners, through airlines, through airports. Where do you go from here? I mean, I guess you're planning to reach as many people as possible through these partnerships. What about also direct downloads? How are you promoting this application? Because I guess it's pretty competitive to get noticed in there are so many millions of applications. So what is the best way to get noticed?
So you're hitting the nail on the head, because this is really a big problem. We initially thought that we will not deal with B2C. We will not deal with the customers. They will find us a little bit, but we will mainly do it through airlines and airports. Unfortunately, airlines are very difficult to move. They're very heavy. They have their own processes. And while we want to push forward, we had to go to the B2C channel. We are doing paid advertisement through Google and through Facebook. We also, of course, do it with YouTube and Instagram, because they are connected. But this is really a very big thing. Now, if you did the calculation, I'm more than 6 years old. I'm not, the young entrepreneur, and I'm learning new things here. So we took a company here in Israel that is doing it for us. But this is a big thing.
So
the competition.
People searching for things like I'm afraid of flying, how to fight fear of flying. People searching that on Google would come on would come across.
Hopefully. Yeah. In Israel, we do better at this. In the United States, we are focusing on several areas in which we could do better, but it is a very big problem, very huge issue to cover. And I believe it will take time, but we will get the right place. We have excellent reviews on the stores, more than 4.5, which also will eventually bring this to the attention of people. We already have 12,000, a little bit more than 12,000 downloads, which is good. And we are working. It is really hard work.
Yeah, pretty impressive. 12,000, which is, for an app that you use for a very specific thing, it's pretty impressive. I mean, I'm not an expert in the app economy, but yeah.
But it's a huge problem. That's it.
Yeah,
many people are ashamed to admit it, while it's very easy to download the app and take the course without anybody know about it.
Yes. And you said it's now available in English and Hebrew.
Yes.
Okay. Any plans to launch new languages anytime soon? Yes. That would depend on partners that you secure.
It depends on partners, but I am almost certain that the next 2 languages will be Spanish and French, because we think that there are major portion that request help. And with these languages, we will cover a very big portion of the world. Later on, who knows? But yes, we need to partner with somebody, because it costs money. We're a startup, We recruited some money, raised some funds, but we're really working from home in a way.
Yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to ask you about, and you mentioned there's like a network of pilots. You even mentioned Uber as a analogy. Yes. So how does it work? You have the, let's say, the team of the company that is directly managing the app, but then you also have all the pilots that are collaborating with you. How this might work? I'm asking because I know there are quite a few pilots that are listening to this podcast regularly. So do they sign up to be part of this network? Do they get a share of the income that comes from this premium contributions? What would you say to pilot community that might be interested in being part of this?
Okay, so first of all, in order to join us, you just go to the SimpliFlyApp.com and look for the pilot section. There you can enroll. Now, what I can offer, and the process is very simple. You enroll, we check that you are really an airline pilot, and then we accept you, and then you have to look at our training video, which is 25 minutes long, and get some information from us. Then you do at least one dummy training chat with us in order to make sure that you understood it. And then you have your app. You're not committed to anything. You can switch it on and off whenever you are ready to answer to chats. Now, what we offer you as a compensation, first of all, is a huge satisfaction, something that you could never understand until once you have helped somebody to overcome this fear. Second thing, we pay you a part of what we charge the customers for the chat. But this is really, yes, if you are working a lot and if we have many chats that you can make some money, but this is not the thing. So guys, if you are a pilot and you are listening to this podcast, you can join us. And what I can offer you is huge satisfaction and a little money. How it goes, very simple. You go to our website, which is SimpliFlyApp.com, and you register. We contact you. We approve you, then you get some training video to watch in order to understand how to learn how to do it. Then we do a very short dummy chat, training chat to qualify you. Then you have the app. You're not committed to anything. Only when you are available to answer questions or to answer chats, you turn it on and you get like an Uber driver eventually. You get chats, and once you do the first chat, you understand all the things that were not really understood before, how you save lives of people, and you let them fly, and understand how flying is a good thing. So pilots, join us, please.
Well, you hear it,
yeah.
Very good. So when people want to learn more about this project, where should they go? What is the app URL, or what app stores they can find it at?
They can find it in both Apple and Google stores, but the easiest way to find it is to go to our website. There is a direct link that will take them to the stores. And again, the URL, we will post it below. It's SimpliFlyApp.com. And don't forget, don't buy the premium, use our promo code in order to get it for free for a couple of days in order to use it and to try it. Fly with it even and enjoy. The best thing, or the most important thing, is for people who are afraid of flying to understand that most of the people can overcome it. Unfortunately now, and I didn't tell it before, most of the people choose not to deal with this and are doomed to stay there. But if you want, and if you are willing to learn and to listen, you can overcome the fear of flying.
Thank you very much, Alon. I think we can leave it here today. You mentioned quite a few things that could make for I guess, very interesting future podcast episodes of your time in the IDF and your time in the flying as a commercial pilot. We've got quite a few. We've got commercial pilots and crew members here in the podcast in earlier episodes, and it's always interesting to to hear how life is for you guys that are constantly up in the air from one side of the wall to the other. But today we are a bit running out of time. But thank you so much for being here today. I will be posting all the links, and looking forward to keep track of your project as it grows.
It was my pleasure to be here, and I will be very happy to talk about flying and whatever you want to. It's been my pleasure to be here. Thank you for hosting.
Excellent. Hopefully we can arrange a future episode. Thank you very much, Alon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Before you go, and if you like this podcast, a quick reminder that it would be absolutely great if you could please give it a rating on Apple, Spotify, or whichever platform you're using, or recommend it to a friend or whomever might be interested. Thank you very much, and see you soon.